It's time for week 3. Hello everybody and welcome back to the channel. My name is Brianna and this is For Pause on a Book. I make bookish videos over here on my little corner of the internet, so if that's something you're interested in, make sure to get that subscribe button down below. It is time for the 3rd week vlog of the Amazing Readathon, which is crazy. It's the 16th today, which means we've officially crossed into the second half of the month. It's been a ride for sure. Currently, like I said, it's Sunday the 16th. We just finished Face Off, which is probably why I look like this, because in the past 3 nights I've gotten enough sleep for like 1 night. So I'm a bit tired. I don't have any makeup on because we're gonna go to the pool this afternoon. We're just gonna go, like, it's Father's Day, we're gonna go hang out and have dinner, like, with family, stuff like that. But I am also gonna drop a prompt for the next leg of the race here shortly, so I need to put a poll up and I don't know what team I'm reading for, so let's figure that out. Let's figure out what I'm going to be reading. We're going to be going to Antananarivo, Madagascar. Yes, I probably picked like one of the most difficult cities in the world to pronounce. I had to look up a pronunciation guide when I did the route info. So anyways, we're going to Madagascar. And the prompt is to read a book with gods or religion in it. It could be fictitious, it can be real, it doesn't really matter. It just has to have some sort of like religion or gods in it. And honestly, I could be on any team and be happy. Like, there are books for probably every single genre that I would be like, yep, I want to read that. So let's figure out which team I'm going to be reading for. Let's get some books, we'll get the Patreon poll up, and then the prompt is going to drop in the next couple of hours. All right, the board has been reset, or the spinner wheel has been reset, and all 5 teams are back on, and everybody has a chance. So let's go ahead and spin. All right, we're going to be reading for a romance. Okay, I'm actually really excited about these options. Only one of them is a contemporary romance. The other 2 are fantasy romance, but that's okay. We're going to count it. And I'm going to do points total for the Patreon poll. And I'm excited about these. Only one of them, maybe not any of them, have audiobooks. So this could be fun. We'll probably do like an audiobook sightseeing at the same time as physically reading if that one gets picked. The one that I would like to win is A Lesson in Thorns by Sierra Simone. Queer author, romance. There is a priest in this and a saint. And I'm pretty sure like there's a scene in a church or something like that. I'm pretty sure the series is even called like Thorn Chapel something. So this one will be 460 points. There's 360 pages plus the queer author bonus and the romance bonus. Then we have Pestilence by Laura Thalassa. This is the 4 Horsemen of the Apocalypse, but make them sexy. So this would get a romance bonus. I don't think that she is queer. I would have to do some double checking. I'm gonna assume not until I do some research. So this one would get the 50 points for romance, and then this one is 366 pages, so this one would be 416 points for the romance bonus, plus the page count is 366. And this one I know does not have a romance. I actually found this author on TikTok and bought her books from the TikTok shop, and that is The Hells of Notre Dame by R.L. Davenor. This is a queer author. This is a sapphic retelling of The Hunchback of Notre Dame. That's a chapel or a cathedral. That's right. It does not have an audiobook though, so it would be a slower read for sure. This one is 395 pages plus the 100 points for the bonuses, so 495 points. Lowest option, highest option, middle option. Knowing my Patreon, this will be the one that gets picked because they are not they don't take risks yet. It's always been the middle option. So we'll see what happens. I'm not going to read anything this afternoon. I am wiped from Face Off. I read 7 books in 48 hours and DNF'd another one. So it's been a wild ride. I'm tired. I also haven't slept. So whatever I end up reading, I will probably do tomorrow. Hello, I look like a hot mess. My makeup is running really bad. So I'm gonna go take it off and go to bed. But it's Monday night. It's been a day. I had a very busy day at work, and then I had to take Schmidt to the vet because he's got some serious eye problems, and yeah, I just wanted to, get him checked out, make sure he was okay. But I just wanted to touch base with you because I was in fact right about what my patrons would pick, and I'm going to be reading A Lesson in Thorns, and I'm having a grand old time with this. Have I read much today? No. because it's been a busy day and I didn't really have a chance to audiobook. And also, like, even when I was, this is a very smutty book. And I was like, I don't know that I want to do that. Plus, I think I'm like having a little bit of face-off burnout. Not burnout. Like, I want to read. But there was a lot of like YouTube content I wanted to catch up on. So I was kind of watching that. So I just haven't had a chance. Like, I haven't just really wanted to read, but I am gonna go get ready for bed. Gotta give Schmidt his medicine, and then take my makeup off. I was on sprints and my eye started bugging me, and so I was like rubbing it, and this is what happened. But I think I might try to physically read this for a little bit this evening in bed, because I've been finding that if I read something that's not a screen, I sleep better. So, instead of looking at my phone, I will read for a little bit. So, I'm enjoying it, but I'm literally 70 pages in. So I don't, there's a lot of characters, because it's a very poly book. It's a very queer book, which is great. But there's a lot more characters that I have to kind of like keep track of, I guess. So I'm not fully invested in any of the characters' stories yet, but I'm sure I will get there. That's my update for today. Not much reading has been done, but I do want to make sure that I finish this tomorrow. I think the audiobook says I have like 4 hours left, so I should be able to finish this, but I want to make sure that I'm getting some sightseeing done. I'm going to start with a 400 because I did a 500 last time, so I'm going to start with a 400 point sightseeing, but I don't know what that's going to be yet, so we'll have to see.
Never been to California, never been to LA, so I'll stay home and write these songs, pretend I'll make it someday. My friends are getting married, they're all settling down, so I'll lay here.
Hello, happy Wednesday. It's Wednesday afternoon. I have finished Lesson in Thorns. I'm giving it 4 stars. It is probably a low 4-star. Probably could be a 3.5. This is definitely not my favorite of the series. I think the same thing that I said at the beginning, where like there's so many characters that like, I don't know, I just never like got in, like I never connected to any of them, if that makes sense. Like, we got a little bit of backstory about some of them, but other ones just felt like pawns. And so because of that, I just never felt connected to the characters and to the story. But like, the smut was good. Here's the thing. This book is for fans of dark academia, but like, they want the characters to fuck. That is what A Lesson in Thorns is. Like, if you're reading The Secret History, If We Were Villains, actually this. If you read If We Were Villains and you were like, this is great, but I would love it if they fucked, this book, A Lesson in Thorns, that is what this is. With just like, extremely queer characters, like the Sierra Simone god level smut, like that, but make it If We Were Villains. The prompt is going to drop either tonight or tomorrow morning, depending on a couple of things. I'm not feeling super great today, and so I may not be able to drop it tonight. We'll see what happens. But I kind of want to get one more book read for romance, and I know that I won't be able to do like a full-length novel because I have other things I need to get done this afternoon. So I think I'm gonna do the Christina Lauren novella. I can't remember the title of it, but I have it on Libro FM. It's only like a couple of hours. I wanted to read it over Face Off and I didn't get a chance to. I'm gonna use it for the 400 sightseeing prompt of reading a book by 2 authors, because Christina Lauren is 2 authors, and also I am going to meet Christina and Lauren on Monday. They're coming to Salt Lake for the Tangled Up in You book tour, and so I'm gonna go see them on Monday. And even though this isn't that book, I'm gonna read this one instead. Just felt right. Anyways, it's warm. There's a reason I don't do car updates as much in the summer, because it's warm. But I went to Barnes & Noble because I had to go drop off Schmidt at grooming, and it's near the Barnes & Noble, and I haven't been in a while, so I decided to. So I got 2 books. I had some rewards, so that's why. I found The Circus Infinite by Con Wong. This is a book that has been like jumping out at me quite a bit. I I keep looking at it and keep wanting to get it when I walk into bookstores, and today it was like front and center, and I was like, great. This is a sci-fi circus. So will I be able to read it when I'm on sci-fi the second time? Who knows? Because my reading has definitely taken a hit, and I'm not reading nearly as much as I thought I would this round. It's fine. But Persephone 9 is the galaxy's most infamous pleasure moon, and it is here that Jess, a mixed-race asexual empath with gravity manipulation abilities, is hoping to hide in plain sight from the scientists hunting him after his escape from their torturous study. Joining the circus, as runaways often do, he finds at the Circus Infinite a band of misfits that accept and welcome him into their circle. It's not long until the local crime boss stumbles upon who Jess really is and how much he is worth. Aimed with that knowledge, he makes Jess an offer he can't refuse. Sounds interesting. It's queer, which is exciting. And then I also got An Ember in the Ashes by Sabatier. I love these new covers. Like, love them. They look much less YA. And weirdly enough, I've never read this book. And I'm going to for a project that will happen July or August. I don't really know. But I've heard great things about this. It's kind of a booktube staple, and I missed the hype, so I want to get back into it. I am gonna run home and get some stuff done, maybe jump on sprints, who knows, and I'll talk to you later. Hello. I look like a hot mess because I decided not to put makeup on today because I worked from home and didn't want to do that. I have not quite finished the Honeymoon Crashers. I am about 30% of the way through it. I am enjoying it. This is like 1.5 of the Unhoneymooners, which is a train wreck of a book in the best possible way. And this one is just as crazy and chaotic, and I kind of love it. And I'm sure that there's like a forced proximity aspect to this, and it's the sister of the main character in the Unhoneymooners, the one that was supposed to get married and ended up, you know, being a terrible person. And, you know, she's gonna end up with a redeeming thing. So anyway, I'm having a good time with it. I have an hour and a half left of the audiobook, so I'll definitely finish it tonight. However, I do need to put my poll up on Patreon for my next city read, and so we need to spin and see which team I'm reading for. All right, I will be reading for fantasy. Okay, I have lots of options for this, and we're definitely going to lean into the fire as the source of the light. I really want to start Spark of the Everflame, and this has a bunch of like sparks. That's a source of light. This is a fantasy romance with gods, and I actually kind of wanted to read it for the last leg. If I ended up on fantasy, it was definitely gonna happen, or was gonna be an option anyways. But in the series, the gods want to be with the humans, and so they like kind of give up their immortality and they die alongside their human companion. But then we have the kids of that that are like the descendants, and they're terrible people, and our main character has been told don't ever talk to the descendants, don't go to them. Her mother is a healer or a doctor for the descendants, and then she ends up having to like take her mother's place, and I'm sure there's going to be some sort of romance between that and a descendant. I don't know. This is the big fantasy romance series going around booktube right now, so I'm excited to read this one. We'll see. I think we'll do page count for this poll, because then they won't actually know if that's like the full points or if they'll get the extra like 50 or 100 points. So this one has 422 pages. I don't know that Pencole is queer. I would have to check on that. I haven't seen any discourse about it, so I'm not gonna like assume, but it would get the 50 points for fantasy. Then we're gonna do Archive of the Forgotten by AJ Hackworth. This is actually one of my host favorites, like the first one is, and so then therefore the whole series is, but I actually haven't read any farther in, so we'll see. Hopefully I like this one too. I am desperate for a 5-star read, and I know that the Library of the Unwritten was a 5-star read for me, so I'm hoping that the series will continue and be amazing. This is about a library that is in hell, and it like starts off as this kind of like adventure quest thing, and it quickly becomes this battle between like heaven and hell and angels and demons. And in this one, the remnants of these books begin to leak a strange ink. Former librarian Claire realizes that the challenges within the library have only just begun. That's exciting. Love a continuation. And then this one is a sun. as the source of light. But this is Death by Fire by S.C. Muir. This was an author that was at a Polycon, and I picked up her book wanting to read it before a Polycon. It was one that I was really interested in, but I didn't get to it. This one does not have a audiobook, so I would have to be reading this alongside a sightseeing book, which is fine. I can do that. But this is Marauding Insurgents and an Innocent Life, Married Strangers. So a little like Marriage of Convenience, maybe Fated Maids, Fire and Water, Life and Death. The 4 types of magic must be held in perfect balance by the magi who wield them. That harmony is shattered when a sorcerer wielding 2 opposing magics laid waste to the 4 clans, driving them into isolation. This one is a queer author, but the page count is 359, and this is a queer author, and that page count is, hold on, 350. So all of the page, like all of the points would be roughly the same, because if Pen Cole is not queer, it's about 50 pages longer of a book, 70 pages longer of a book, but it wouldn't get the extra 50 points. So they're all like within 20 to 30 points of each other. I'm gonna go put this poll up on Patreon, and I'll touch base with you tomorrow morning to let you know which book that I've chosen. Hi, hello, it is Thursday evening, and I have some updates for you. I have a weird shadow going on, and I don't know how to fix it. It's fine, we're just gonna deal with it. First off, I got some book mail from one of you wonderful, wonderful people that is doing the Amazing Readathon, and I just got the biggest smile on my face. You absolutely did not have to do this, but I'm just so excited that everybody is loving this readathon so much and having so much fun. Like, people are reading more than they have read all year in this, 3 weeks so far. But I did get a package. I actually got it a couple of days ago. I just haven't had a chance to film an update. So we're doing it now. But it was from Jess from over at Books and Hiking Boots, and she got me some annotation supplies and Murder at Spindle Manor. And I read this one earlier this year. This was the winner for the Spiffbo 9. Yes, Spiffbo 9. We're on Spiffbo 10 now. So this was the winner of the most recent Spiffbo, and I actually recommended this to a lot of people during the Paris leg for the award winner, because this would fit both the spooky team and the fantasy team, and it's a short read, it's fast, it's quick, and it was a lot of fun. This is like Agatha Christie, but with fantastical creatures, with a little bit of Clue involved. So anyways, thank you so much. You 100% did not need to do this. I'm just happy that you guys are having fun. But I wanted to share that. Let's talk, because I am reading 2 books and I'm a decent chunk of the way into both of them. So my patrons did decide to do Death by Fire. This is the first book in a duology, I believe, and it was the middle option. I should have known. It's also the only one that didn't have an audiobook, so love that. But I'm actually I'm reading it really fast. I was on sprints tonight, and in 3 45-minute sprints where I wasn't reading the entire time, I read 168 pages. I'm doing pretty well. I'm actually going to probably read a little bit more tonight before I go to bed. I'm enjoying this. Do I think it's really well written? No, but it's fun. The first 20 pages I was really worried, because there was a lot of info dumping, and we got an entire backstory, an entire world history, all in these 20 pages, and so I was like, oh boy, this is gonna be a little bit rough. But this is an arranged marriage where there are 4 clans, or 4 types of magic: fire and water, life and death, and these 4 clans have been separated, and they used to live in harmony, and then there was the sorcerer that just separated them all, and now they live in this isolation. And a millennia later, we are trying to reunite the clans, and obviously after a millennia of being on your own, that's not as easy. It's not as easy as you might think. Or as you would imagine. So we have our fire mage, who is the prince, and he is the heir to the throne, and they have arranged for him to marry a fire mage who will be his princess. And then there are these insurgents, these rebels. His father is killed, and so he has to assume the role of the king. And that's about where we're at the point of this book. So I'm almost 170 pages in, a little less than halfway that I've read in one night, which is pretty good for reading with my eyeballs, because I don't read with my eyeballs that much. And like I said, at first I was thinking it was going to be a little bit rough, but it does read really fast, and I do really love these two characters. I think that they have this unease to them, this like their guards are up, their walls are up still, because they obviously like they didn't know the other person before the wedding, and so they're like trying to get to know each other and have these like quiet moments while also like trying to peacefully take over the kingdom and like become the rulers. So I am enjoying the characters. I'm enjoying the story. It's reading fast, and it's a lot of tropes that I like. You can tell this is a debut, and what I mean by that is like the info dump. It was like the author like needed to make sure that you knew everything about this world history prior to going into this book, and I think it could have been like weaved in a little bit more seamlessly throughout the story, rather than being like, here's everything you need to know. So like either having a prequel or I don't know, just kind of like blending it in. Does that make sense? And then there's been times where like there was this battle that happened, and there was this like, you know, the military and this like what should have been a battle scene ended up being a recap. So they, like, the prince is just, like, recapping what happened, and he's saying, like, you know, he's telling the people, this is what we did, and this is what we found, and blah, blah, rather than it actually, like, us being with the characters in that moment. So, a little bit of telling and not showing, but that's kind of common with debuts, especially when like we are trying to do so many things. And I think we just have to figure out is like, what is the main point of this story? Is it this arranged marriage and the romance between the two of them, or is it this political like unrest, this revolution that's happening? And like, if it is the politics, is like we needed a little bit more focus on that, and it would have been cool to see that battle scene. That's probably my only complaint. But I'm still enjoying it. Like I said, it's reading super fast, and I should definitely be able to finish this tomorrow. And then I'm doing a sightseeing book at the same time because I need an audiobook while I'm at work. So I started Beneath the Alabaster Spire. This was going to go back to Libby, and I wanted to read it. This is the second book following Dark Knight Golden Dawn, the Immortal Orders. And I'm 26% of the way in, which is chapter 9. It's exactly 100 pages in. There is so much smut in this book. Like, we're 100 pages in, and I think there's been like 5 sex scenes. It's a bit much. And I kind of understand it, because this is a continuation of the romance that like started in book 1, and so this is a new relationship for them, and so they can't keep their hands off each other, and I get that. And then there's also this like magic that hasn't really been explained yet, but like there's like a magical explanation for why like they can't keep their hands off each other. And I don't know why yet. I'm hoping we figure this out, but it's like every time I turn around they're doing it again, and I just need something else to happen in this book. I'm really enjoying the conversations that we're having about queerness in this book, about like monogamy not being the absolute norm, or not being the like expected idea of a relationship. There is a poly character in here. So we have these other conversations about queerness in general. This is a queer author, and I really like that representation. It's not something you see as much in like traditional fantasy romances. I feel like we haven't quite broken that barrier with traditional romantasy books. A lot of them still tend to be pretty like cis-het, and I love finding self-pub books where the authors feel like they can write their own identities. They can write books where like they see themselves represented, and so therefore we also see ourselves represented. I'm not hating this book yet. I don't think that I'm loving it as much as I loved the first one. However, I think the first one kind of started out slow-ish. Like there was a lot of smut right at the beginning in that one too, and I think that as we got to know the characters more and like got to see their more emotional side, that's when I really started loving that book. So I still have hope for this book, but like they need to do something outside of the bedroom. at this point. Sorry if that was confusing. I don't know the best way to do this when I'm vlogging, like we're doing a normal weekly vlog. Normally, like when I'm doing themed vlogs, I'm very much like, I read this book and then this book and then this book. But because of the way that Amazing Readathon like is structured, and the fact that like the book that I am reading is not an audiobook, so I'm technically reading 2 books at the same time, I didn't know how to structure this vlog. And so if this is confusing, please let me know, and I can like try to figure it out for next week if this ends up happening again where I'm reading 2 books at the same time. This was just the way that like I thought to do it, and I put a community post up and I was like, how do you want me to do this? And the majority of it, even though it was only up for like an hour before I did this clip, the majority of people were like, it's fine, you can talk about 2 books at the same time. But if that bugs you, please let me know nicely. Please let me know nicely. But anyways, I am gonna probably like settle down for the evening, and yeah, it's almost 9 o'clock. And I have an early morning tomorrow, but it's Friday. I'm gonna go get my nails done tomorrow, which is like, they are way overdue. I've needed to do them for several days now, and it just hasn't worked with my schedule. So we are going to do that tomorrow after work. I am going to read a little bit more of this tonight, I think. So I'll talk to you later. Hello. It's much later than I would have liked to talk to you, because it's Saturday night and I actually wanted to have this video edited and like up for my patrons, and I did not because I have not felt well for the past 2 days. So I slept a lot today, and yeah, love it when I have to change my my like medication dosage and my stomach just decides like, nope, that's not okay. But anyways, I did go get my nails done yesterday, so that's a win. And I have 2 books to talk to you about before we close out the vlog and we start over again next week, which will be the final vlog for Amazing Readathon, which sounds crazy. I have 2 books to talk to you about. Do I give this 5 stars? It's not like, okay, technically, I don't think it's a 5-star book. And like the writing, like you can tell this is a debut author, but I had such a good time with it. I bought the second book from the author's website so I could get it signed, because this one is also signed. This is definitely more of a fantasy than it is a fantasy romance, for sure. Maybe 4.5. I don't know. I liked it though. I think it's 4.5. I think it's 4.5 stars. But like, maybe, I don't know. The other thing is, I think that it is the reason why I liked it so much is, hold on, it's over here. This is 2 stars. I am so disappointed in this book. Did not like this book at all. There is way too much smut in this book, and nothing actually happens. And like once it does, it was like too little too late. I will still continue the series. I will finish out, because there's just one more book in the trilogy, so I will still finish it. But yeah, so 2 stars. 5 stars? I think I'm gonna give it 5 stars. I think I am, because like the character dynamics is so good. There's no smut in this book. It's a closed door. So like know that going into it. It almost borders on YA, but like with adult characters, but it's kind of written more YA. But I still really enjoyed it. So anyways, that is going to wrap up this vlog. But I have a points stat for you. Now, I think we're a little bit too close to actually, like, we're too close to the end to tell you an actual placement, because of things that might happen towards the end of the race. But I'm going to tell you that 1st place and 3rd place cumulatively are less than 100 points apart. So it is anybody's game at this point, which is exciting. Like it could be anybody, because even 4th and 5th are not that far off either, but less than 100 points between 1st place and 3rd place. So that's exciting. That is all I have for you today. Let me know your favorite book of the week, if you have been participating in the Amazing Readathon, or if not, you know, what have you been reading lately that you love? That's all I have for you today. If you're new here and you haven't yet subscribed, there's a little button you can do so down below the video. If you'd like to hang out with me more, the links to my Instagram, Goodreads, Twitter, and my Patreon are linked in the description below. Thank you for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye!
Told you this was temporary, didn't I? But you changed my mind. terrified.